The huge alien ships appeared without warning. They emerged from the darkness beyond Pluto, massive vessels that dwarfed anything humans had built. Earth's long-range scanners detected them first. 27 objects moving in perfect formation toward the inner solar system. At NASA headquarters, Dr. Alan Wright stared at his computer screen with wide eyes. The energy readings made no sense. Whatever propelled these ships operated on principles unknown to human science. "Get me the director," he said to his assistant. His voice stayed calm, but his hand trembled as he reached for his coffee. "And call the UN Security Council. They need to see this immediately." Within hours, the United Nations Security Council gathered in an emergency session. Leaders from around the world connected via secure video links, their faces grim as they viewed the footage. "These objects will reach Earth orbit in approximately 6 days, explained Dr. Wright, pointing to the trajectory map. "Their mass and energy output suggest advanced technology far beyond our capabilities." Defense ministers exchanged worried glances. Military forces worldwide went on high alert, but everyone understood the truth. Earth had no real defense against visitors who could cross interstellar space. President Garcia of the United States cleared his throat. "We've activated Space Force. Captain Lisa Daniels is assembling our response team." Captain Daniels was already working at Space Command when the call came. A decorated pilot with advanced degrees in astrophysics, she represented humanity's best hope for understanding what approached. "We need to attempt communication," she told her team. "If they can travel between stars, they must have some method of faster-than-light communication." For 3 days, Earth broadcast messages of peace in every format scientists could imagine. Mathematical sequences, simple pictograms, radio signals across all frequencies. The alien ships continued their approach without response. Then, on the 4th day, they answered. Every screen on Earth flickered simultaneously. Television broadcasts, computer monitors, even digital billboards in major cities displayed the same image, a humanoid figure with pale blue skin and elaborate markings. When it spoke, its words came through in perfect English. "People of Earth, I am Ambassador Krex of the Keldorian Empire. Your world now stands at the threshold of a new era. The Empire controls 70% of this galaxy. Resistance is both futile and unnecessary." The message continued for exactly 3 minutes. The Empire demanded Earth's immediate surrender and integration into their domain. They promised technological advancement and protection in exchange for resources and absolute loyalty. When the transmission ended, the Security Council reconvened. "We need to know more about this empire," said Captain Daniels. "Their capabilities, their true intentions." Scientists and intelligence analysts worked around the clock. Using powerful telescopes, they observed the approaching fleet in detail. The ships carried weapons systems unlike anything in human arsenals. Their hulls bore marks that looked like battle damage. This was not their first conquest. Then came the breakthrough. Dr. Wright discovered hidden frequencies in the Empire's transmission, containing vast amounts of data. Working with cryptographers, he began decoding their database. What they found chilled them. "They've done this before," Dr. Wright explained to the Security Council. "Many times, there are records of over 300 civilizations they've conquered." He displayed images of worlds stripped of resources, transformed into mining operations or agricultural centers. Species who surrendered became workers or servants. Those who resisted faced harsher fates. Entire populations relocated to labor colonies, their home planets strip-mined to barren rock. Captain Daniels stood before the council, her expression resolute. "They expect us to surrender without a fight. They don't think we have any choice." Around the table, world leaders looked at each other with new determination. "Then we'll have to surprise them," said President Garcia. "Humanity has never accepted conquest quietly." The council voted unanimously. Earth would not surrender. For the first time in history, all nations stood united against a common threat. As the alien fleet drew closer, Captain Daniels prepared her team for the most important mission in human history. They had just 2 days to find any weakness they could exploit. 2 days before humanity would either secure its independence or face subjugation by the Keldorian Empire. The last stand. The world changed overnight. Ancient enemies became allies. Nations that had fought for centuries now shared military secrets and technology. Earth was preparing for war. In a hidden bunker beneath Geneva, representatives from every major power gathered around a circular table. Maps of Earth's orbital defense systems glowed on screens around them. "We have less than 72 hours," said General Lewis, his voice grave. "Our conventional weapons will be useless against their technology." What followed was unprecedented. China revealed advanced missile systems. Russia shared previously unknown satellite capabilities. The European Union unlocked its quantum computing research. Each nation contributed its most guarded secrets to humanity's defense. But the biggest surprise came from Commander Olivia Grant of the United States Space Force. "There's something you need to know," she said, activating a secure terminal. "Mars isn't uninhabited." The screen showed images of a facility built into the red planet's Olympus Mons. For 15 years, an international team had secretly constructed Aegis, an experimental defense system designed to protect Earth from asteroids. Now it would face a far greater threat. "Aegis isn't ready," Commander Grant explained, "but it's all we have." Chief Engineer Sam Porter had helped design Aegis. At 52, with graying hair and weathered hands, he'd spent his career building spacecraft. Now he was tasked with turning a planetary defense shield into a weapon. "The system uses magnetic fields to deflect objects," he explained to the Council. "We might be able to modify it to disrupt their ship's engines." While Porter worked on Aegis, Dr. Heather Collins studied the data from the Empire's transmissions. A quantum physicist with a reputation for unorthodox thinking, she noticed something others had missed. "Their shield technology," she said, pointing to energy readings. "It operates on predictable frequencies. If we can match those frequencies exactly and then shift suddenly, we might create a destructive resonance." Earth's scientists worked without rest. Factories worldwide converted to military production. Civilians prepared for possible invasion, stocking supplies and creating community shelters. The Empire, meanwhile, seemed confident. They sent a final message. "Your planet has 24 hours to prepare formal surrender ceremonies. Any military action will result in severe consequences for your population." In response, Earth broadcast a simple message: humanity chooses freedom. The Empire's reaction was immediate. Their fleet accelerated, cutting the approach time from days to hours. Commander Grant ordered Aegis activated. The massive installation on Mars hummed to life, drawing power from fusion reactors buried deep beneath the surface. Every functioning satellite and space-based telescope focused on the approaching armada. "They're forming attack positions," reported a Space Force analyst. 12 ships breaking from formation, heading toward Earth directly. Porter's team finished the Aegis modifications with minutes to spare. Dr. Collins uploaded her frequency matching algorithm to Earth's defense systems. "This is it," Commander Grant said, watching the Empire ships approach on the tactical display. "All units in position. Remember why we fight." The first Empire vessel fired. A beam of concentrated energy shot toward Earth's atmosphere. Before it could hit, Aegis activated. A shimmering field of energy spread across the upper atmosphere, absorbing the blast. Earth fired back. Modified satellites released precisely calibrated energy pulses matching the Empire shield's frequencies, then shifting suddenly. 2 Empire ships faltered, their shields flickering. "It's working," Dr. Collins shouted. The battle intensified. Empire ships fired continuously, their weapons gradually weakening the Aegis shield. Earth's countermeasures damaged 3 enemy vessels, but the others kept coming. "Aegis is at 40% capacity," Porter reported grimly. "We can't sustain this defense." Commander Grant made a difficult decision. "Concentrate all power on the lead vessel. We need to show them we can hurt them." Earth's combined defenses focused on the Empire flagship. Satellites, ground-based energy weapons, and the Aegis system all targeted one point. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the Empire flagship's shields collapsed. Its hull cracked, venting atmosphere into space. The remaining ships pulled back, regrouping at a safe distance. For the first time in recorded history, someone had successfully resisted the Keldorian Empire. The battle had just begun, but Earth had won the first round. The unexpected defense. Lieutenant Kevin Hughes floated silently in his one-person fighter craft, engines powered down, drifting among the debris of a destroyed satellite. All around him, 11 other pilots waited in similar positions, invisible to Empire sensors. "Hold position," he whispered into his comm. "Wait for my signal." Below them, Earth glowed blue and white against the blackness of space. Above, the massive Empire ships moved into attack formation, recovering from their initial surprise. Kevin had never expected to become Earth's first line of defense. 6 months ago, he'd been training pilots at Edwards Air Force Base. Now he commanded Earth's hastily assembled space fighters, converted from orbital maintenance vehicles. The Empire ships began their second approach. Their formation was perfect, a textbook example of overwhelming force. That was exactly what Earth was counting on. "They're predictable," Dr. Daniel Miller had explained during the briefing. Miller, an archaeologist, had made a shocking discovery just hours before: ancient cave paintings showing the same ships that now threatened Earth. They'd been here before, thousands of years ago. They always used the same tactics. Kevin watched the Empire flagship move exactly as predicted. "Now," he whispered. 12 fighters ignited their engines simultaneously, emerging from hiding places throughout the orbital debris field. They didn't target the massive warships. Instead, they attacked the smaller communication relays that connected the Empire fleet. On Earth's surface, civilian technologist Grace Wilson activated her counter-communication system. A former video game designer, she had created a method to flood Empire channels with false signals. Transmitting now, she reported from her makeshift command center, once a university computer lab. The Empire ships suddenly received conflicting orders. Their perfect formation broke as some vessels turned one way while others moved in different directions. In that moment of confusion, Earth struck. The Aegis system, now reconfigured by Sam Porter, fired concentrated pulses at precisely the weak points Dr. Collins had identified. Not enough power to destroy the massive ships, but enough to damage their propulsion systems. "Don't let them regroup," Commander Grant ordered from the control center. Earth's defense didn't rely on matching the Empire's technology. Instead, they used unpredictable patterns. Fighters attacking then hiding, ground-based weapons firing from unexpected locations, electronic countermeasures jamming their sensors. The Empire had conquered hundreds of worlds, but they had grown complacent. They expected surrender or straightforward resistance, not this chaotic, multi-layered defense. A small Empire scout ship broke from formation, attempting to circle behind Earth's main defensive line. Kevin spotted it immediately. "Squad 3, intercept," he ordered, his voice calm despite the danger. 3 Earth fighters moved to engage, using the tactics they had developed specifically for the Empire's vessels: quick approaches from multiple angles, firing at shield junctions, then retreating before the larger ship could respond. The scout ship's shields failed. Rather than destroy it, the Earth fighters disabled its engines, leaving it stranded. "First capture complete," Kevin reported. On the far side of the moon, a secret Earth facility prepared to receive the disabled ship. Scientists and engineers stood ready to examine Empire technology up close. Meanwhile, the main battle continued. Earth's defenses were holding, but just barely. The Aegis system flickered as it absorbed massive energy blasts. Ground-based weapons fired continuously, their operators working in shifts to maintain the varage. "They're pulling back," reported a sensor operator. The Empire fleet, having lost 4 ships and with 7 others damaged, retreated to a position beyond the moon. For the first time in centuries, Their initial attack had failed completely. In Geneva, world leaders watched in amazement. "We did it," someone whispered. But Commander Grant shook her head. "No, this was just their first wave. They'll be back, and they'll be angry." She was right. Long-range sensors detected hundreds more Empire ships entering the solar system. The real battle was about to begin. Earth had surprised the Empire once. Now they needed to do it again, with even greater stakes. Empire's confusion. Admiral Zorthak paced the command deck of his flagship, his blue skin darkening with anger. Holographic displays showed the damaged Empire ships retreating from Earth orbit. In 400 years of service, he had never faced such a humiliating setback. "Impossible," he muttered, striking the tactical display with his fist. "A primitive world with no interstellar capability has disabled 7 of our vessels." His subordinates kept their distance. The Admiral's reputation for executing messengers of failure was well known throughout the Empire. "Their tactics make no sense," said his chief strategist. "They attack in random patterns. They target communication relays instead of firing on our weapons. They hide, then strike, then disappear again." Zorthak studied the battle recordings. Earth's defense violated every principle of conventional warfare. Instead of concentrating their forces, they scattered them. Instead of protecting their major cities, they lured Empire ships into elaborate traps. Most puzzling of all, their different military forces actually seemed to work together. "They should be fighting among themselves," the Admiral said. "Every pre-unified world does." In his quarters, Zorthak made a difficult decision. He would send a diplomat, someone who could understand these humans better than he could. Maria Rodriguez had been born on Earth before the Empire conquered her colony world 30 years ago. Now she served as a cultural interpreter for the Empire. She had never expected to return to her birth planet. "You will explain to these humans the futility of resistance," Zorthak told her. "Make them understand the benefits of peaceful surrender." Maria's shuttle approached Earth under a flag of truce. She was escorted to a neutral meeting facility in Geneva, where representatives from Earth's governments waited. "I bring terms from the Keldorian Empire," she began, speaking in English. "Your resistance has been noted with respect. The Empire offers favorable integration terms if you surrender now." Commander Grant studied the woman before her. "You're human." Maria nodded. "Born in Argentina. My colony was conquered when I was a child." "And now you serve them," said General Lewis, his voice cold. "I serve reality," Maria replied. "The Empire controls most of the galaxy. Resistance brings only suffering." For 2 hours, Maria presented the Empire's terms. Earth would maintain limited self-government. Resources would be shared, not seized. Technologies would be exchanged. It was the best offer the Empire had made to any world in centuries. The Earth representatives listened politely. Then they presented their counteroffer. "The Keldorian Empire will withdraw all forces from the Sol system immediately," read Commander Grant. "Earth and all planets in our system are declared sovereign territory, off limits to Empire expansion." Maria laughed in genuine surprise. "You cannot be serious. The Empire has conquered thousands of worlds. You have no leverage for such demands." While the negotiations continued, a more dangerous mission unfolded in space. Major Eric Freeman led a small team in a stealth craft, approaching the Empire's command ship. Using technology reverse-engineered from the captured scout ship, they managed to bypass external sensors. "We're in," Eric whispered as they breached the outer hull. His team moved silently through the massive vessel, placing small devices at key junctions. These weren't bombs, but data collectors, designed to extract information from the Empire's computers. For 20 tense minutes, they gathered intelligence before retreating undetected. What they discovered changed everything. The Empire relies on predictable conquest patterns, Eric explained after returning. They've been using the same tactics for over 1,000 years. Their entire military structure is built on the assumption that resistance always follows established patterns. The data showed something else. The Empire was stretched thin. Rebellions had erupted in distant sectors. Resources were being diverted. The fleet attacking Earth was powerful, but it was also the Empire's only reserve force. Back in Geneva, Maria received new orders from Zorthak. The negotiations were a distraction. The Empire was bringing in reinforcements. Hundreds more ships were only days away. "Your resistance is admirable but futile," she told the Earth representatives. "Soon you will face the full might of the Empire." Commander Grant smiled. "We'll be ready." For the first time, Maria felt a flicker of doubt about the Empire's inevitable victory. The turning point. Earth scientists worked around the clock in underground laboratories across the globe. They had studied the captured Empire technology and made a critical discovery. Their shields operate on predictable energy patterns, Dr. Hither Collins explained to the Unified Defense Council. "We can create a counter-frequency that won't just damage them. It could shut them down completely." 3 days had passed since the first attack. The Empire reinforcements were approaching rapidly. Over 200 vessels, including planet-killer-class destroyers. Earth had days, perhaps hours, before they arrived. In a former aircraft factory in Seattle, engineers worked feverishly to equip Earth's limited space vessels with the new shield technology. Leading the effort was Julia Reeves, a test pilot chosen to fly the prototype ship. "Will it hold?" she asked, running her hand along the modified hull of her spacecraft. Chief Engineer Porter nodded. "In theory. The alien materials we salvaged create a resonance field that should make their weapons less effective. But nobody's ever done this before." Julia suited up as technicians made final adjustments. Her mission was both simple and impossible: lead a small fleet to intercept the Empire's supply ships before they could refuel the main battle group. Starting an army works in space just like it does on Earth, Admiral William Carter had said when proposing the strategy. Instead of challenging the Empire's warships directly, they would target the vulnerable support vessels. Julia's squadron launched under cover of darkness, using the moon's gravity to slingshot toward the outer solar system. 12 ships carrying Earth's best pilots and newest technology. Their mission classified at the highest level. At the same time, Dr. Joseph Barnes made a breakthrough in his communications lab. For days, he had been analyzing Empire transmissions, and finally, he'd cracked their encryption. "I can read everything they're sending," he reported excitedly. "And more importantly, I can send false messages they'll believe are authentic." This gave Earth a critical advantage. While Julia's squadron approached the Empire supply convoy, false orders sent the escort vessels on a wild chase after phantom Earth ships. "Target in sight," Julia reported as her squadron reached the supply convoy. 20 massive tanker ships carrying the exotic fuel the Empire ships required. Engaging now. The battle was brief but intense. The Empire gunners, caught by surprise, fired desperately at Julia's squadron. Their weapons slid off the new shields in bursts of colorful energy. "It's working," Julia shouted as her weapons found their mark. The supply ships, designed for transport rather than combat, proved vulnerable to even Earth's limited weapons. Within 30 minutes, the entire convoy was disabled. No Empire ship had been destroyed. That wasn't the mission, but none could continue. The fuel they carried was now leaking into space, useless to the approaching armada. When Admiral Zorthak received the news, he nearly executed the messenger who brought it. "Impossible," he raged. "How could primitive vessels defeat our convoy?" The answer came too late. Without refueling, his massive fleet would have enough power for one decisive attack, but nothing more. They couldn't sustain a prolonged battle or retreat if things went poorly. "We must strike now, with everything," he ordered, "before they can further adapt our technology." The Empire fleet accelerated toward Earth, burning precious fuel reserves. Over 200 warships prepared to unleash destruction, unlike anything humanity had ever faced. But Earth was ready. Admiral Carter had positioned his forces in an unusual formation, concentrated not around major cities or military installations, but in seemingly random positions throughout near-Earth orbit. They expect us to protect our valuable assets, he explained. So we won't. As the Empire fleet approached firing range, Earth appeared almost undefended. Major cities lay exposed. The Aegis system remained powered down. "They're taking the bait," Admiral Carter said quietly. The Empire ships moved into attack position, gathering for what they believed would be a quick, decisive victory. They didn't notice Julia's squadron, returning from their mission, taking position behind them. "All units," Admiral Carter ordered, "execute Operation Checkmate." In that moment, Earth forces revealed their true strategy, not to win through superior firepower, but to trap an overconfident enemy in a web of their own making. Galactic ripples. The Empire fleet fell into Earth's trap perfectly. Admiral Zorthak watched in horror as his ships fired on empty space where Earth's defenses had appeared on their sensors. The readings were false, created by Dr. Barnes's communication team broadcasting phantom signatures. "It's a trick," Zorthak shouted, but his warning came too late. Earth's actual defense systems activated simultaneously. The Aegis shield expanded not around Earth, but around the Empire fleet itself, creating a containment field. Julia's squadron, positioned behind the Empire ships, fired precisely calibrated energy pulses that disrupted their engines. The massive Empire armada found itself trapped, unable to maneuver effectively, weapons firing uselessly against the shield that now contained them. "Surrender or be destroyed," came the message from Admiral Carter. "You have 5 minutes to decide." For the first time in the Empire's 5,000-year history, a Keldorian admiral surrendered. Zorthak gave the order with trembling hands, his career and likely his life now forfeit. News of Earth's victory spread quickly through the galaxy. Professor Linda Martinez, who had developed Earth's translation system, began receiving unexpected signals from distant stars. "They're coming from planets under Empire control," she explained to the Security Council. "Other species who want to know how we defeated the Keldorians." Decades of Empire rule had created a galaxy full of subjugated worlds waiting for a spark of hope. Earth's resistance provided that spark. On the planet Nexus, once home to a thriving civilization, but now an Empire mining colony, workers heard about Earth's victory and laid down their tools. On Vega Prime, scientists who had been forced to create weapons for the Empire sabotaged their laboratories. Throughout the galaxy, the myth of Empire invincibility shattered. "We need to coordinate with them," Commander Grant urged. "If we work together, the Empire will face pressure on multiple fronts." Using the communication codes extracted from captured Empire ships, Earth established contact with resistance groups on dozens of worlds. Professor Martinez worked tirelessly to create translation matrices for species whose languages had never been heard on Earth. "We don't just need to share tactics," she explained. "We need to share hope." Meanwhile, the Empire Council convened an emergency session. For the first time in centuries, the 12 senior admirals faced a genuine crisis. "This Earth problem must be contained," declared Admiral Vrex, the most senior member. "We cannot allow news of their success to spread further." "Too late," replied Admiral Tarn, bringing up a holographic display showing rebellion reports from across the galaxy. "The damage is done. We must crush Earth completely to restore our authority." But others on the Council had a different view. "This conflict is costly and spreading," noted Admiral Kella, one of the few female Keldorians in the High Command. "Perhaps negotiation is the wiser course." The debate raged for days. Meanwhile, Earth consolidated its position. The captured Empire ships yielded valuable technology. Earth's scientists adapted these advances while adding their own innovations. What had begun as a desperate last stand was becoming a genuine power shift. Ambassador Ryan Collins prepared to meet with Empire representatives. Once a history professor specializing in diplomatic relations, he now faced the most important negotiation in human history. "We will not demand their complete surrender," he explained to the Security Council. "That would only ensure continued conflict. Instead, we offer a new relationship, Earth and its allies recognized as sovereign, with limited trade and cultural exchange with the Empire. The council chamber in Geneva had been transformed for the historic meeting. Empire delegates arrived in their ceremonial armor, clearly uncomfortable being on Earth soil without weapons. Human representatives wore their finest clothes, projecting quiet confidence. The Keldorian Empire has ruled the galaxy for 5,000 years, began the Empire's chief negotiator. We have brought order and stability to countless worlds. And subjugation, replied Ambassador Collins calmly. But times change. Earth proposes a new arrangement, not as conquerors or conquered, but as equals. For 3 days, the negotiations continued. Outside the chamber, the galaxy held its breath. Dozens of worlds, watching through communication channels Earth had opened, waited to see if a new era was truly beginning. A new status. The signing ceremony took place in an unusual location, Earth orbit. Representatives from both Earth and the Empire gathered on a neutral space station positioned halfway between the Moon and Earth. Through transparent viewports, the blue planet hung suspended against the blackness of space, a visual reminder of what this treaty protected. Ambassador Collins read the final terms aloud. His voice, broadcast across Earth and to hundreds of formerly subjugated worlds, remained steady and clear. The Keldorian Empire hereby recognizes Earth and all bodies in the Sol system as sovereign and independent territory. No Empire vessel may enter this designated zone without explicit permission from Earth authorities. The Empire representative, Admiral Kella, added her own statement. The Empire acknowledges Earth's right to establish diplomatic and trade relationships with any world or species without Empire interference. What the document didn't state explicitly was perhaps more important. Earth had effectively broken the Empire's stranglehold on galactic politics. For the first time in millennia, independent worlds could exist outside Imperial control. After the ceremony, Captain Frank Sullivan received his new orders. A veteran of the orbital defense battles, he now stood on the bridge of Earth's first true interstellar vessel, the Pathfinder. Built using a combination of human ingenuity and adapted Empire technology, it represented humanity's official entry into the galactic community. Your mission, Commander Grant told him, is to establish contact with our new allies, not as refugees or rebels, but as official representatives of Earth. Frank studied the star charts showing their planned route. 12 worlds that had fought alongside Earth during the conflict. Former Empire territories now declaring independence. We're making history, he told his crew as they prepared for departure. The first humans to officially visit another inhabited world. On Earth, the changes were equally profound. Knowledge from Empire databases transformed human science overnight. Medical advances eliminated diseases that had plagued humanity for centuries. Energy production became clean and nearly limitless. But Earth's leaders made careful choices about which technologies to adopt. They remembered the Empire's sterile uniformity, the crushing sameness that had eliminated cultural diversity across thousands of worlds. We will advance, President Garcia declared, but we will remain human. Our differences and diversity are our strength, the very qualities that allowed us to defeat an enemy that thought all civilized worlds must follow the same pattern. The Earth exclusion zone became heavily fortified. Defense satellites using modified Empire technology formed a protective network around the solar system. Regular patrols monitored the boundaries, ensuring no unauthorized entry. Yet these defenses were balanced with openness. Earth established a diplomatic outpost at the edge of the solar system, a place where representatives from any world could come to establish contact, trade, or cultural exchange. Maria Rodriguez, who had once served the Empire, requested permission to remain on Earth. I want to help build something new, she explained to the council reviewing her case. Not an empire, but a community of worlds where each maintains its own identity. Her request was granted. Maria joined Professor Martinez in establishing Earth's first Galactic Cultural Center, a place where humans could learn about the thousands of species that shared the Milky Way. 6 months after the treaty signing, the Pathfinder returned from its diplomatic mission. Captain Sullivan's report to the Security Council was met with applause and tears of joy. "Every world we visited has ratified mutual defense agreements," he announced. "Not just with Earth, but with each other. We're not alone anymore. We're part of a growing alliance of free worlds." The former empire continued to exist, but its power diminished daily as more worlds declared independence. Some empire officials advocated for a massive military response, but others recognized that their old methods no longer worked in this new reality. On a clear night 1 year after first contact, Dr. Alan Wright, the scientist who had first detected the Empire fleet, stood outside his observatory gazing at the stars. Beside him, Commander Grant looked up at the same vast expanse. "Do you think they'll try again?" he asked quietly. She considered the question carefully before answering. "They might. Empires rarely accept limitations gracefully, but we'll be ready, and we won't be alone." Above them, invisible to the naked eye, Pathfinder's sister ships departed Earth orbit, carrying human representatives further into the galaxy. Earth had taken its place among the stars, not as conquerors or subjects, but as architects of a new galactic order.